Hello, good morning. It's another lovely early spring heatwavy day. You'll see from the thumbnail I'm out riding part 3 today of the Athelstan Way. It's a new 100-mile route for cyclists and walkers, linking 36 churches in the 6 benefices of North Wiltshire. Each benefice has a circuit. And the passport idea is there's an inked stamp at each church. You collect the stamps. It's a bit like a brevet card on an old axe, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. I think I may be pronouncing the name of the route wrong. I'll explain shortly. Anyway, that's what's coming up today. I've just passed Allington Bar, which is on the outskirts of Chippenham. You wouldn't think so, would you? Today's route is going to be straddling the M4. I'm on my touring bike. This was a replacement for my previous touring bike that was stolen last year. I've had this about 9 months now. Very happy with it. I've modified it. I've put a rear rack on it. I've put mud guards on it. And I've put these ergo grips on it, and I've also chopped off a little bit of the handlebars, about 1 inch each side. I may even take another 1/2 inch off at each side, I'm not sure yet. Perfect for rides like this. Our first stop is going to be Kington, Langley. I'll tell you more when we get there. We've got to get across this busy road here, the A49. Luckily, traffic lights. There's the signpost for our first village. It's just up there actually, Kington, Langley. Here we are, Kington, Langley, our first village. So you can see this is a commuter village for the M4. Just north of Chippenham. Junction 17 of the M4. Fairly big village, it goes back a long way. Where the road splits up by the green, we're veering off to the left. There it is, literally just off this main road through the village. Open bell tower. Church Lane. Okay, oh, I should have gone down that little path. Wow, this looks lovely, doesn't it? Lovely sign, isn't it? St. Peter's, Kington, Langley. Underneath that yew tree, by the look of it, that's split in the middle. Oh, look at that lovely sun bleached porch. So I've got my Athelstan Way leaflet, Discover the Athelstan Way, a walking and cycling route linking 36 churches across the 6 benefices of the North Wiltshire Deanery. And it says, cycle route coming soon. I've just been making my own ones up. I've just loved little projects like this. So up to now, I've ridden and visited 7 churches in the Goulsbrook benefice, that circuit down there on the lower left. I've got 2 more to complete, but today I've actually come up here, Kington Langley, into the Draycot benefice. So this is Kington Langley. Next we're going to Draycot Cerne. We won't get in there, I'm hoping the stamp will be in the porch. Then Sutton, Benger, and we'll head north of the motorway into this bottom right hand corner of the Goulsbrook benefice. Then we'll finish off the 8th and 9th churches there, Stanton, St. Quintin and Hullavington. Lots of interest. So this is the first one. Let's go and see if we can get in and find the stamp. Got my passport. Let's go and have a look. It's got a second door gate there with the wire mesh on, so we need to be careful we get that door open quickly and shut. Gosh, look at these wonderful stone carvings. Just to stop any birds coming in. Ooh, lovely cool feel in here. Quite a bit of light coming in actually. Very woody, but it's got a very neutral smell. Just can't smell anything. Sometimes you get that damp smell or the polished smell, and that's what we're looking for. The stamps are kept in these little Tupperwares. The important thing, I think, is to put the cover back on the ink pad and then seal the stamp in there, because that could dry up so easily. When I say this is a new route, there's 6 circuits, 6 benefices. 2 of them were only inaugurated last weekend. In fact, there was an official opening and a guided tour around 2 of the benefices. So it really is a work in progress. It started last summer, 2 more this April, and I think it's going to be completed in the summer of this year. Each of the circuits, each of the benefices has its own guidebook. They're £4 each. They ask you to pay online. I am going to collect them. You can download them for nothing from the website. I'll put the link in the description below, but I actually want these physically, and also it gives me a chance to make a donation. They clearly got to run at a profit to provide all this, and hopefully it's fundraising for the churches. I just went on their website and paid £10. So by the time I've got all 6, that'll be £60. And also, I'm not putting money in the collection boxes each time. I've thought about this. There's 36 churches. When I get to finish, I thought I'll just make a £36 donation. So although it's a dark wooden roof, very dark pews, it's actually quite light in here because of the sun flooding in, especially at the back. And the lime mortared walls, which have been, well, I wouldn't say it's whitewash, it's yellow wash, but it's certainly bathing the place in a lot of light. No need to put the lights on. And then let's walk forward. That bright purple colour again, that just really does, for me, makes an emotional impact. Up a step towards the pulpit, open stone one. Modern organ, keyboard of some sort. Then I guess my favourite part of the church, up the step into the chancel. Kington, Langley, St Peter's. Gosh, look at that amazing organ. The big recess behind it. And up to the altar. Wonderful stained glass windows. St Peter. Mothers' Union. Gosh, wonderful stonework. The detail on that, and you're looking at people who've been dead for hundreds of years. For me, that has more emotional impact than looking at old black and white photographs when you think all those people have been dead decades. You look at somebody like that, it's because it's 3-dimensional, I think. You think they've been dead centuries. Gosh. Thermometer in there, 15.3 degrees. Wonder if that controls something. It looks like it's temperature control. Griffin and Stroud, organ builders, Bath, 1899. Gosh. My hometown. I'm going to take a photograph of that and look that up when I get home, because I've never heard of them. So I'm not a religious person, but I do love churches and also love history. So anything like this just draws me towards it. Kington, Langley, Wiltshire. So we're on the middle common. There was the upper common. And then we're going to join a road paralleling the M4 shortly. We're going to head down to a church I've been to before, Sergeant J.M. Gladwell. I haven't got my cap on, but I will doff it outside. Gosh, it really is baking sunshine. Gosh, they've even got some bike racks outside. I should have put my bike against that. Really is sun bleached, this South Churchyard. I said I may be pronouncing the name of the walk wrong. So the Athelstan was the first king of the United England. He was an Anglo-Saxon king, and I was watching the History Chap the other day. I watched all of his videos on YouTube. I'll put a link to his channel below. But he started a series about the Viking raids of England and the history. I was watching that, and he was referring to, I think, the Athelstan family. And he was referring to the lineage, and one of them was Aethelberry, and next to him on the family tree was Athelstan, so it could well be Athelstan. If you know the answer, please put it in the comment below. Is it Athelstan or Athelstan? Athel as in hay, or Athel as in maths or mathematics? Until I know otherwise, I'll carry on saying Athelstan. Beautiful churchyard, bird box. There's a chancel window. That was behind the organ. Wow, bird song everywhere. Oh, this is absolutely delightful location. So there's 6 churches in the Draycot benefice. So we're going to 3 today. So that's 50% of this circuit of the Draycot benefice. This was St Peter, Kington, Langley. Next we're going to St James at Draycot Cerne. Then shortly after that, All Saints at Sutton, Benger. Then, as I said, we're going to jaunt up, cross the motorway, turn left westwards into the Goresbrook benefice and visit the final 2 churches there. St Giles at Stanton, St Quintin, and St Mary Magdalene at Hullavington. So get back on the village road, go along to T junction, turn left. We're coming up to Draycot Cerne. So you can see there's a B road on the left going up to the motorway up there. And then round to the right is where we're going, Draycot Cerne and Sutton Benger. Put in there. And this is the estate. We're allowed access through the wicket gate. Well, we're at Draycot Cerne, and you can see there's pedestrian access to St James Church, Draycot Cerne, which is just up there. But they've wired up the gate. Not sure. We're not going to get there today, are we? Unfortunately, no access to a Churches Conservation Trust church, which the public have access to, and also part of the Athelstan Way. Just going to write that one off this morning. So we're going to carry on along here to Sutton Benger, and then I'm going to have to come back there on another day, ring up the key holder, either meet her here or she may be able to give us a code, I don't know. That's a bit disappointing. Anyway, I'm going to carry on to Sutton Benger that way. And within a couple of minutes we're coming into Sutton Benger. And there's the church, right on the junction of the left-hand turn that we want. All Saints Church, Sutton Benger. Joint benefice, Kington, Langley, that's where we've just come from. See if we can get in here. Leave my bike outside. Because I've picked up the walking guide, I'm actually going to take that inside where hopefully I'll get a bit of shade, and there may be some instructions on how to gain access to Draycot Cerne, and of course my pilgrim passport. Right, let's go and have a look. Right opposite the Bell House, public house. I'm assuming that should be kept shut. Keep the birds out. Okay, let's go and have a look. Slight damp smell in there, but again very, very light. Spot the stamp straight away. I'm actually going to do a quick bit of reading and see if there's any instructions or reference to getting into Draycot. I've just had a look. Stage 4 on the walking route to this benefice, Kington, Langley to Sutton Benger. So there's our first church, there's where we are now, and there you can sort of see Draycot Cerne. And the notes say, St James Draycot Cerne is in the care of the Church's Conservation Trust, and the Trust website should be consulted for arrangements to view the inside of the church, which is what I did before. So that's going to have to be a separate trip in itself, I believe, as it was before. Okay, so not for today. But what we have got is what looks like a mauve stamp, and there we are, number 2. Oh no, that's Draycot Cerne. That's nearly put this stamp in there. So number 3, All Saints, Sutton, Benger. Gosh, busy filming. I nearly made yet another mistake. Right, stamp that one. I notice in their information mark they've got Stan's pilgrimage to Draycot. Oh yes, I should have mentioned this previously actually. There's also like a little project for children. It's all based around a dog, I think. So if you're a family with kids, you can excite them hopefully with that. I know that's having a big impact on me. I really am getting quite excited every time I see the stamps, and working out a method that's going to make it easy for somebody like me with poor eyesight. Oh, bell tower there. Looks like the bringing room's up at a different level. Key code to get through there. Gosh, projector. Bit more intricate carving on these pews. Gosh, there's quite a grand pulpit. Look at that, gosh. The amount of work that went into this is just incredible. Look at these carvings. Underneath the tombstone that joineth unto the 3 uppermost seats resetteth the body of Robert Atkins, gent, who deceased the 19th day of February 1670. Gosh, so quite an old church. Up into the chancel, although it's dark, it's got a lot of light streaming just down the entrance. Then about here, that impact gets you cooler, darker, more ethereal. Vestry through there, I expect. Stained glass windows. Then back here, those amazing sculptures there, and stops for the arch. Gosh, look at that carved seat as well. Another modern organ, and I think they call this the lower altar in the chapel. I wonder if that's to do with the kiddies booklet, their project, as I'm looking for stamps, whether they're looking for the dogs. I'll have to read up about that actually when I get home. It's all on the website. Modern children's area there, look. Last Supper, is that maybe? Okay, I think I'm keen to move on actually. So sunglasses, hat. We'll leave that gate shut, keep the birds out. Let's have a wander around the churchyard. That crucifixion up there. So this church is on the corner of that B road, and this one where we're going, this is going to go up, cross over the M4, you can probably hear it on the outskirts of the village, and then we'll turn left westwards in that bottom right hand corner of the Goresbrook benefice. Gosh, all these yew trees. Wonderful stone arch, isn't it? So we came in that way, we're going to be heading up here. The old shop cottage. Oh, bike rack again. I hadn't spotted that at all. Then back round to this really sunny south facing porch. We are back to the Bell House Inn. Tower at the back. About a mile after leaving Sutton Benger, we came up that road heading north, crossed over the M4 motorway. Almost immediately you take this left hand turn, we're coming into this small village of Upper Seagree. We're actually going on to a village a few miles away, Stanton, St Quintin, very close to the M4. So we were south of the M4, we're now north of it for the final two churches of today's trip. Well, within less than a mile after that junction, we're coming into Stanton, St Quintin. So we're now back in the Goresbrook benefice. Gosh, village school. Very close to the M4 motorway. There we are, right opposite the school is our church. There it is. We're going through the Lich Gate. St Giles Church is open every day. As I understand it, Lich Gates were, in the olden days, where the coffin would be delivered by the undertakers, and it would stay here until the clergy, the priest or the vicar would come out with one of those biers, like a trolley on those huge wheels, collect the coffin, then it would be wheeled in. The bier would also act as a stand for the burial service. This is wonderful. So I have been here before. In fact, I visited here after that guided tour I had round St James Church at Draycot Cerne, the one we couldn't get in this morning. Oh, the Living Churchyard project. That has inspired me at home. I try and make my back lane wild and encourage wildlife based on the Living Churchyard project, so that's hugely inspired me. I'm not a gardener, but I have been inspired by this project because I love churchyards so much. So I keep saying I'm not a religious person. I come here for lots of reasons. I love churchyards. I love the church architecture. I just sometimes love the situation. I love the history. I love looking at the craftsmanship. It's much more of an emotional journey for me rather than a religious one. Lovely garden. Oh look, and it's open. This is lovely. Nice bit of shade here actually. I've got my passport out. I've just checked my edited photograph. There we are. St Giles, Stanton, Quintin. So I'm learning as I go along. Maybe check before you go in churches. I can read that quite clearly from here, but once I'm inside it'll just be like a blur. So I'm learning as I go along. St Giles Church is part of the Goresbrook group. So this will be the 8th out of 9 churches in the Goresbrook group. So we'll be finishing the Goresbrook circuit today. Just before we go in, read up a little bit. Welcome to our church. Well, it does feel welcoming actually. St Giles Church has been a place of Christian worship for many centuries. Although the church building is very ancient, it is still a place of regular worship and is not a museum fossilised in any one period of time. If you are a casual visitor to our village, welcome. Yeah, this just does feel really welcoming. And this straightaway feels like a lovely blend between ancient and modern. Look at the seating. Can't imagine anything worse than a vicar on a Sunday giving a sermon to pews and pews and pews which are virtually empty. If it's a small congregation, the seating can reflect that, can't it? Always lovely and cool in here. it just really does feel very, very welcoming in here. As I said, that nice blend between ancient, such as the craftwork in that arch and the carving in the pulpit, and modern. Look, there's even a kitchen area over there. Oh gosh, just as you're about to walk through the arch into the chancel, there's that decorative glasswork at the top of the arch of the east window. That just really catches the eye. That's more effective in many ways than stained glass. And again, look, chairs. Not sure if I've ever seen chairs like that in the chancel before. Embrace the modern. Clergy's access, I'd imagine. And then this is obviously raised up some steps higher level. Oh gosh, that door up there, I wonder what that's all about. Oh, some kind of access into the bell tower, wouldn't it be? Why there? Puzzling, that's puzzling. I'm sure if I think about it, there's an obvious answer, but I can't think of it. So that's more of a trapdoor, isn't it? There's a ladder going up to it. That is, yeah, not sure. Bell ropes. I was just looking round at a CCT church in Wiltshire last year, I think it was, or the year before. The guy came up who's a bell ringer, and I told him, you know, my interest in churches, and he sort of said, "Oh, do you want to come and see the bells?" And he gave me a guided tour. I never realised bell ringing was so complex. He was showing me all these ancient algorithms. So when you hear the ding dong, there's quite a lot of skill and work goes into that. I love that crossed stonework there. The midday sun catching the stained glass window, projecting the colours across the floor of the church. Look at that. In grateful memory of the Leslie man, warden of this church, 1952 to 1996. I checked the relevant circle outside, and I've just confirmed it with this. This would be fourth of today's churches, well, the third really, because we didn't get in one of them. That one there, Stanton, St Quintin. Stanton, St Quintin, St Giles Church. Here we go. Just to get it offset again. I don't care, I'm just really, really enjoying this. There we are. Okay, I'm going to go outside, find a spot for my lunch, and just enjoy this wonderful, wonderful place. I think I'm going to need to find somewhere in the shade. There's plenty of seats here as well. Again, they encourage you to stop and stare, don't they? I've just plonked myself down there for my lunch, and I just wanted to show you this area actually in the shade next to the wall of the house next door. It's a burial area, asking you not to enter. It says this area of the churchyard has been fenced off because there is a risk the tombs may be unstable. Please do not enter. Of course I won't. And you can see they're starting to subside. That one's got quite a slope on it, a list. That one there must be dangerous because it's been covered. But they all seem to be protected by this tree. It almost looks like their guardian. You can see how they're starting to split open. Guess the ground just must be a bit unstable here. Although you can't get in, it's absolutely very atmospheric here. Lovely shade, and as I said, that tree just looks like a guardian. This really is a wonderful church. When we leave here, I'm going to go over the road to the Commonwealth War Graves, and there's a First World War memorial over there. I'm going to go over there and have a look round, doff my cap, pay my respects, and then I'm going to be turning left where that cyclist just come from, heading that way. We'll be running parallel to the M4, and then we'll be going to the final, the 9th church in this benefice. This is church number 8, and Hullavington will be church number 9. This just is such a beautiful place, isn't it? That central bell tower there. And the road splits here. As we leave the village, we're going to bear round to the left, yep. You would think it was June, not April. So hot. So coming up to a T-junction, I've just zoomed my Garmin out and I can see there's a dead end up there. So it's a little dog leg we're doing up to the church, signposted Hullavington. So the track goes up here, it just suddenly stops. That'll be by the church, and then we come back down this way, overshoot the junction we've just come up, and then we'll head back to Bath. So church number 4, stroke should have been 5, coming up very shortly. Hullavington, St Mary Magdalene. Here we are coming into Hullavington. Church is coming up in front of us, and there it is. Oh, I could have gone in there. Go up to the Litch Gate. St Mary Magdalene Church is open every day. Please come in. I will, thank you very much. Wow, sun bleached seat up there. Been spoilt for choice for sunny seats today. Porch on there by the look of it. No stamp in the porch, so I'm guessing it's open. Ooh, this is very light. Gosh, straight through a rood screen. A barn-like chancel. Gosh, look at that stone front there. Through this root screen to a tiled chapel. Oh, just feels a slight drop in temperature. Lovely, lovely stained glass windows. Basic but nice. Purple down through yellow into blue. And that lovely purple colour. Is this the Lady Chapel maybe? Crucifixion again. Came to this, walking back into the nave, and there we are. Look, my guide number 5. It would have been number 5. It's actually number 4 today because we couldn't get in one of them. St Mary Magdalene, Hullavington. It looks like a green stamp. There we go. Oh, a bit faint. So I've now got 11 stamps. This is the completion of the Goresbrook benefice circuit. I've loved every minute of this, I really have. And we've so far been to 2 in the adjoining benefice. Should have been 3. If I show the map on the back, that's the Goresbrook benefice. So we've now completed that because we're there at Hullavington. And we started the Draycot benefice today. Kington, Langley, Draycot Cerne where we couldn't get in, Sutton, Benger where we could, and then we came up. The astute amongst you will have spotted, oh, Seagree, why didn't he go there? Because I wanted to go along here and finish off this benefice. So I will be coming back. My next trip will be starting there, Titherington, Kellerways, Christian Morford, go to Seagree then. May have another go at going into Draycot Cerne, I don't know. I'll probably ride by it and see what the gate looks like. If that lock's still on it, I probably won't attempt it. I'll just leave that one out. I don't know. No bad feeling whatsoever. I just do not want to trespass, and if it's going to be that difficult to get in, I don't want to arrange the key holder to meet me there just to get a stamp. I've already been there once, and I appreciate her efforts so much. She could not have been more helpful and friendly. She even gave me a free guided tour of the church, like a personal historical tour, including playing the organ and singing for me. That was probably one of the best days out last year, so I'm so grateful to her for that. But it's clearly on a private estate, and I just feel so strongly about not wanting to trespass. As I said, I may have a second look there, but I'm not going to go out my way just to get a stamp. I may leave that one blank. Anyway, one benefice complete. The second one started, and I've really got the bug for this. Whoever came up with this idea is a marketing genius, they really are, because it appeals to people like me, and it also just adds another dimension to the trip. It just that feeling of satisfaction of collecting stamps. The battery's about to go on the camera. I have got a power pack to recharge it, but I think this is a good place to wind the video up. Hope you've enjoyed coming along on stage 3 of the Athelstan Pilgrim Way. It'll be a couple of weeks before I post this video. It's all to do with my data plan on my mobile phone, so you may well have seen a camping trip before this. If not, that'll be coming up shortly. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. As usual, take care, see you soon, bye for now.